Morning, folks. This is a Saturday morning shave for me, and the shaver of the day. This will be the 9th use on this blade. This is a feather camisori style Shavette. Usually, my experience has been about 10 shaves, about all I get out of these blades. We'll see how number 9 goes. The soap I'll be using today is Colonel Conk Bay Rum, and what I have it in is this is the container I have it in. It is a vintage covered sugar, and that's what I got it in. I've got this from my parents for Christmas, and the brush that I'm using today to whip it up in is a horsehair Vie Long. Already got some whipped up. I've already used the hot towel to the face, put some bloom water on there, my Allen block complete with rubber band, Phoenix Artisan accoutrements, beard balm I'll use off camera, Cremo, and yep, that's what it looks like. Has like a spearmint scent to it. Aftershave today, Stephan Bay Rum. And go ahead and re-wet the face here, and I'll get started. This Colonel Conk is not the, if you notice by the packaging, it's not the, there's a newer version that has a blue packaging to it. I do not have any of that yet. It is on my to try list, but I'm thinking more along the lines of the one of the scents that I'm thinking about trying is the Santa Fe. That particular soap might be referred to as a heat and pour. You can warm it up a little bit. Kind of have to be careful when you warm it up in the microwave. You don't want to get too hot. Just enough to where it will pour out of the original container, or that, or form into the one that you're trying to put it in. So all I did was just put it in my covered sugar without the cover, and put it in the microwave and watched it. Once it got to the point where I was settling down into the container, covered sugar, that's where I stopped it at. In other words, just enough to get it in there. You can kind of see it's not too hard to lather up. I like it. I know some people, they have an aversion to heat and pour, but it works for me. I use what works for me. That's how it's supposed to go. Pass number 1 with the grain. There is one time I stretched, got 13 uses out of a blade, but I'd have to say I really had to be very careful, because that blade was, it was really struggling, and that was just to see how many I could get out of it. I'm still thinking that 10 is probably a good number for me. Now, if your beard hair is your whiskers, if it's different than mine, maybe not near as thick, and not only in growth, but how the diameter of your whiskers. You might get more shaves out of it. To me, this is one of my favorite shavers when it comes to Shavettes. For me, control with the handle is really easy. I find less times that the handle's giving me a hard time getting in the way. course, that's me. You know, you may prefer the folding kind, and they do look nice, and it is tempting to get one until I see the price. And this one here I got on Amazon for in the neighborhood of $60. The folders, though, they run as high as $230, and I don't know if I like them that much. That falls well outside of my budget that I normally would spend. I mean, I do enjoy shaving now, where I used to really hate it, but I try to keep my budget a lot smaller than $230. From time to time, you may hear somebody talk about, for instance, you know, how much better of a shave you might get with one soap versus another, and the price points. Kind of get the same way on one of these. Do you get a better shave with this feather at a $60 price point versus a Parker at, let's say, a $20 price point? To me, with the budget that I was trying to stay within, I feel that it was worth the experience. Is it worth the $40 price point? Maybe not initially, but expecting that this shaver is going to last me the rest of my life, and just having that experience, considering I didn't even start wet shaving until I was in my 50s, for me, you know, yeah, I stretched the budget in order to get it, but I think it's worth it. And it's usually what matters is it worth it to you? I really like it. It's I have to say it probably is my favorite shaver. When I was first looking at the Shavettes, I really felt that that was the style that I wanted. But at that point in time, the price point, I was really concerned that, yeah, but if I spend that kind of money, and what happens if I decide that, nah, this isn't for me? Now what am I going to do? Of course, you could resell it. But for me, when I make my purchases, when it comes to this sort of thing, I like to do enough research where I feel more comfortable with it. Not to the point where I feel like I'm going to resell it. I have to say, use number 9 so far is going pretty good. Usually it's against the grain. That's where I notice it the most, where that blade is really starting to show its use. Temperatures have dropped here. In other words, we're not having days with heat indexes around 105 and 110. The highs are mid-70s. I can smell the Bay Rum. I don't always smell it. Depends on my nose and how it's behaving that day, but I can smell it now. Alright, pass number 2 against the grain. This is the SS model as opposed to the DX, and you really don't have any trouble finding an angle on this with this razor. To me, it was pretty easy to learn how to use. I will have to say I watched, it probably might be more proper to say that I watched many days as opposed to many hours of somebody shaving with a straight razor. So when I pulled the trigger to start shaving with a Shavette, I pretty much had it in my mind, visualized myself using a Shavette or a straight razor. I will have to say, watching somebody like Anthony Esposito, the Stallion, Caleb, Gonzo, David Gonzalez, you watch these guys, they do make it look easy. David, he kills me when he uses those ones like 7/8, and he acts like he's been shaving with it all the time. That's the only thing he's ever shaved with, what it looks like. Yep, they do make it look easy. But also, that was the point where I decided that, now, I know they're not the only guys that have been shaving. You know, long before the video was even available, people were shaving with straight razors, and kind of felt like if they can do it, I don't understand why I can't do it. I guess the determination and the and really feeling, you know, confident that you can learn this. I learned how to shave with a straight razor. I've shaved with straight razors. I just can't strop worth a hoot and don't have any stones to sharpen them, so you see where I'm at with that. If you're not going to have the time to hone a straight razor, and maybe you just don't even have the time to really mess with the strop and all that sort of thing, looking at starting with a Shavette. A Shavette's not a bad thing. I know some people don't like them. Which is fine. You know, it's the experience I wanted to have. I wanted to experience shaving with the Shavette, with the straight razor. I wanted that experience. And if a person doesn't like it, I definitely would understand. Because there is a learning curve. I've had my fair share of nicks and cuts. But there's nothing like after getting a good shave with one of these. I mean, nobody else knows that that's what you shaved with that morning. Reason why you're all smiles. And whether you wanted to have, you got facial hair, whether you want to shave like this, like on the other side, you notice I went this direction to get close to the facial hair, and this time I went straight up next to it. Do whatever works for you, whatever, you know, feels comfortable to you. And I can definitely tell this is nice use on this blade. Against the grain, yeah, I can feel it. It's a little tuggy. So I know the 10th one. Matter of fact, I could stop here, but I'm pretty sure I can get one more shave out of that blade. But yeah, it's a little tuggy. These whiskers are a little hard on blades. It's the reason why most of the time on a half blade, when I snap a DE blade in half. I usually just stick with the one and done. Some of them I get, you know, like a perma sharp. I might be able to get 3 shaves out of it. A feather DE blade, I can stretch those out. They usually last longer. But more inexpensive blades, no, it's usually one and done. Don't see the need to try to stretch at that point the use out of a DE blade when you're talking about pennies anyway. Alright, see what the alum block has to say about the shave this morning. Not bragging or anything, but I've had shaves in the past where I felt like I rushed it when you're trying to get more shaves out of a blade. But today I did pretty good. I only got a little bit of stinging back over here, which is normal for me. But to me, with a blade like this, when you're getting down to your 9th and 10th use out of it, you're rushing your shave. To me, you have a tendency to end up getting some irritation. At least for me, that's the way it is. You have to take it easy. Witch hazel. This is, it's kind of odd, but yeah, these are my shaving experiences, as you can tell. And some of what I might be experiencing might be helpful to you, may not be. But to be quite honest with you, this is how I learned. It was watching videos. And I know with the DE shaver, what I started with, I know how it felt. How things lathered up. And I picked up pointers from many people, even the smallest of details. To me, really helped out. Especially when it comes to, can't really stress your pre-shave routine. It's pretty darn important. Don't think that it's not. It is. Because if you're getting irritation and whatnot, might want to start with the pre-shave first. What are you doing for the routine? If you're wondering where I got this name brand, I have a few of them. I found online. It is called Barber's Depot, and their price points on a lot of their stuff is pretty reasonable. It's a pretty nice scent. Show you the front of it again. Definitely looks like barber stuff. Fragrant skin toner, face and body, aftershave and body rub. It's the first time I've ever seen that. Alright, going back over what I shaved with today. 9th use on this blade. Camisori style. Feather Shavette, Artisan SS. It's got a long name. This is the blade I've been using. This is the only blade I've used so far. I've got one more package of blades and haven't opened them up just yet, and I'm going to try that one next time. Soap of the day. Colonel Conk Bay Rum. Got it in a covered sugar. Still got plenty of lather. Alum block, Peanuts Artisan accoutrements, complete with rubber band. I think that's the only way to go, is with the rubber band. Dickinson Witch Hazel. Stephan Bay Rum. Everybody stay safe. I know we're getting close to the hunting season. Had a co-worker a couple of years back. He fell out of a tree and broke his back. So stay safe and smooth shaves to you.